Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk to you guys about URU. Now, if you don't know, URU is the new material introduced in the Asgard update. It's these Fred Flintstone-like cinnamon toast crunch shaped vitamins in all different shapes and colors that will do things to your character's gears. And I'm going to basically go through why URU is important in this video, where you can find URU, what you need to enhance your URU, and why you should give a shit about URU or not give a shit about it. So first of all, where do you get URU? Unfortunately, URU is gotten from the new chapter 11 and 12 story mode missions. So if you are having trouble clearing those, then you're going to have trouble getting URU. The good thing is you can just get URU by spending clear tickets, so I don't actually have to run this mission manually. It's an item that will drop just from me using clear tickets. Unfortunately, all of the missions that drop URU cost twice as many clear tickets, so instead of just using one, I'm going to use 2 clear tickets whenever I clear the mission once. And it uses a lot more energy. When it's not on hot time right now, it's 8, which is a lot, and when it is hot time, it's still 5. So right off the bat, you need to know that it's very costly to farm URU. It's not something that you're going to get easily. So right off the bat, if you're wondering about URU, these numbers are already jumping out to you as too damn high, 2 clear tickets per attempt, and 8 energy or 5 energy per attempt, then you might as well step the fuck back. Keep the video on though, but maybe put the URU stuff on the back burner until you can get some world boss clears or whatever it is that you're working towards. However, if you're the kind of player who has already been able to clear chapters 11 and 12, they unlocked Odin, maybe you've got some world boss characters already built up, you got tier 2s, you're doing pretty well for yourself. The next step is to start farming URU in order to figure out where you want to take those enhancements for your particular characters. So basically, URU comes in a lot of different flavors, but basically once you get a character's gear to 20, you'll see this Odin's Blessing here on the right side that's going to let you equip different URUs in those different slots. So in total, you have 4 gears. Each gear has 5 slots. That's a total of 20 URU. Keep in mind, if the character's gear is not at level 20 yet, then you will not see the ability to equip URU there. You will just see the regular screen, of course. So you need to get their gears up to 20 before you can start tinkering. For example, I can equip one for Corvus's attack stat, his halberd, but I obviously cannot do that for any of the other ones until they're up to level 20. So there's a very steep requirement for equipping URU. On top of that, as you can see, each of the slots, besides the first one, is gated every 2 additional levels up from 60. At 2, at 4, at 7, and then at 70. So it's every 2 levels and then every 3 levels. So basically, in order to take full advantage of URU, you do need to be level 70. And let me tell you, it is pretty difficult to farm up to level 70 if you're trying to do everything else in the game at the same time. I've been trying to balance my XP a little bit, but I haven't used any boosters. I haven't really run too many story mode missions like crazy, and as you can see, I'm still level 60 after a week of the update. So it's very more than a week of the update actually. So it's quite difficult to get your shield level up to 70. There are people that have already done it, but for the average player, it's not something that they're going to be getting just yet. So you kind of have to temper your expectations about URU based on this. But let's say you've already gotten all the way there, and now you want to know what's up with URU. Well, basically, URU comes in all of the different stat bonuses that we've come to understand and enjoy and sometimes roll for on our different gears. You've got physical attack, energy attack, defense penetration, dodge, HP, crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, ignore, dodge, everything. Even skill cooldown is here. The whole kit and caboodle, guys. Now, of course, they're not all the same in terms of the stat distributions. Obviously, the highest URU, like if you have a max rank URU, the one that gives you HP will give you the most or the highest number. And then the ones that give you attack stats or defense stats will give you the lowest numbers. And then the other ones fall somewhere in between. That being said, you do have 6 ranks of URU, and the way that you rank up URU, so if I have these 10 critical attack URUs that are rank 1 and I want to get a rank 2 URU, I could go and try to farm for it, but I can go over into enhance and I can actually try to make a rank 2 Uru. As you can see here on the bottom, it's quite expensive. In order to make a rank 2 Uru, I need 2 rank 1 Urus. I need some of this unrefined Uru, which is just an extra farming material. I need to use gear up kits, I need to use dimension debris, and I need to use speed Nord stones. And you can see for other ones, so this one is red, this one's purple, it's going to require, again, speed Nord stones, but then this one is skill cooldown, it's going to require blast stones. So it's pretty random what they require. Attack speed requires combat stones, critical damage requires speed. There's not really any rhyme or reason to it. Energy attack requires blast, but whatever. Thank you for the gear up kits. As you can see, it's very costly in terms of items, in terms of materials to upgrade Uru. If you're not someone who's already gotten an abundance of these things, if you're just scraping by for debris, or you're scraping by for Nord stones for the Doctor Strange epic quest or something, Uru is not even going to be on your radar. But if you're looking to invest in Uru, here's what you need to know. So before we get into exactly what you should do if you want to upgrade Uru and equip it correctly on different characters, you should first know the rules about Uru. So when you upgrade Uru, there is a chance that it will fail. So for example, I want to upgrade or enhance this 1 to 2. I pay the cost, and I was successful. So I successfully turned 2 1-star Urus into 1 2-star Uru, and I can try it again. And these will probably all succeed because it's just rank 1 Uru. It's very straightforward. Now, if you get into higher rank Urus, let's say I have these 2-star ones, I want to enhance them. Okay, I got a 3-star one. Whippy-doo. Do it again. Okay, let's try to upgrade now our 3 to a 4, because now we have 2 3s. It's very similar to upgrading cards, where you use a certain amount to get to the next rank, and then you have to use a certain amount of those to get to the next rank. Except in this case, instead of it being 5 cards, it's 2 Urus until you get to rank 5, and then from rank 5 to rank 6, you need 3 Urus. What can happen as well is that your Uru upgrade can fail, and when it fails, you actually get nothing out of it. You lose the Uru, you lose the gear up kits, the dimension debris, the gold, the Nord stones, you lose it all. So there's a pretty steep penalty for being unlucky. Fortunately, in my experience, I found that I didn't really fail that many times, but there is a limit to what you should do. What I suggest for you guys, just as a rule of thumb, is don't go past rank 5 for your Uru. And I say rank 5 just because there isn't a huge jump, there isn't a huge gap between the stats for rank 5 and rank 6 in most cases. And there's a big penalty for failing those rank 5 to 6 upgrades. So right off the bat, you want to try to aim for a 5-star Uru. As you can see here, this is a 4-star Uru, but these two are 5-star Urus. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can only equip 2 Urus of the same kind on each gear. So I cannot equip, even though this is a crit damage Uru, I cannot equip 5 crit damage Urus on each of Doctor Strange's gears. I wish I could, but I can't. That would be OP. But I can equip 2. But the other 3 slots will have to be a combination of at least 2 different types of Uru, because I can have 2 plus 2, and then I'm going to have a 5th that needs to be neither crit damage nor my other type. So you want to plan ahead, and you want to probably try to maximize the character stats that you're trying to bump up, and then just put 2 of those on every single slot. So the plan is, for me at least, that on all 4 of Doctor Strange's gears, he will have a total of 8 Urus equipped with 5-star crit damage boosting Urus. And those will boost his crit damage here, critical damage, from 135% up. From the stat distributions and how much stats you get in return for each Uru, there are certain Urus that have more value than others. What I mean by that is certain Urus will give you more of a numerical bonus than others, and certain stats will go up in percentage higher than others for the amount of stats that you get. What that means is that it takes less of a stat, it takes less defense penetration, for example. You need less stats in defense penetration to equal a 1% increase in defense penetration than you need for a different stat. So in general, you want to aim more for the niche stats like defense penetration or crit rate or crit damage or skill cooldown, and you want to probably avoid some of the more useless or less useful stats like dodge or attack speed. They're probably never going to be that valuable because the amount of attack speed you need to affect a change, the amount of dodge that you need to affect a really tangible change is much too high. whereas with crit damage you will see returns very quickly. Just by equipping one URU, I saw about 1% or a little bit more increase in my crit damage rate overall, which is really good. Also, most characters just don't really need attack speed, dodge, and stuff like that. I mean, it's really easy, and a lot of people have already really predicated things like cooldown because we get so much from our alliance, because it's so heavily discussed and encouraged to get on cards. Most characters and most players have been building their characters to get max skill cooldown already. So it would be foolish to then equip URUs with skill cooldown to just augment something that you've already done and then undo that and try to roll for something else. So ideally, I think you should aim for something like crit damage or defense penetration or crit rate on your character if you want to try to equip some URU. However, don't go crazy with the URU equipping. And this is kind of the last part, and this is kind of the complicated part of the whole thing. Basically, you don't want to equip URU as you go. Because as you unlock more slots, you're going to get closer to the URU amplification, which only happens when you can fill all of the slots with URU, which is at shield level 70. As you can see here, you must fill all slots with enchanted URU to amplify. In general, the amplification process seems like a big crapshoot from everything that I've read. Obviously, I'm not level 70, I haven't tried it myself, but from what I've read, it seems like you waste a lot of gold and the results are super random, which is something we've come to learn and something we've come to expect from things like rolling obelisks, rolling ISO 8 stats, but it's not something that I want to make it sound very valuable or something that you want to be aiming for, because even if you do get that URU amplification and you get the right rolls and you get the, enough slots amplified, the value of it is not really going to be a difference breaker between your character being great or your character being amazing. URU is not the next big thing. It's just a way of slightly, or in a small way, tweaking your characters to make them a little bit better. It will create marginal gaps between characters, like between my Doctor Strange and your Doctor Strange, and those marginal gaps can affect things like extreme alliance battle scores. It can affect things like results in alliance tournaments, but it's not going to be the difference between, oh my goodness, my Doctor Strange can clear this new game mode because of my URU and your Doctor Strange can't. That's never going to be the case, at least not in the foreseeable future. URU it doesn't have that big of an impact in the game. Overall, it seems like the biggest stat bumps, or those stats that can raise the most from URU, are crit damage and crit rate. Unfortunately, crit rate is capped at 75%, so it's never going to get any higher than that, even with lots of URU and lots of investment. However, crit damage caps at 200%. So crit damage is probably the one thing that you can aim for, and you can pump up the most with URU that's not going to be adversely affected in the near future. So I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and also what I've learned from URU. It's kind of a complicated system, but it's quite simplistic once you see it for what it really is. And basically, there's a lot of shit that looks cool but really has no use, and you just got to filter out all that stuff and just focus in on one or two stats that you want to give that character. And just for now, if you're level 60, just equip one URU. It doesn't have to be a very high rank. It can be like 2-star or 3-star URU. It really doesn't matter. Just to give them a little bit of a stat bump if you want. I do not recommend, PSA guys, I do not recommend equipping URU on all of your tier 2 characters. That's a bad idea. But for one or two characters, especially those characters that you're using very frequently in timeline battle, in extreme alliance battle, if you want to equip URU on those few select characters, I would say less than 5 characters. I would say it's okay, you can be comfortable, you can be confident to equip 1 URU, 2 URU, but don't go crazy with it. The costs of enhancing the URU is expensive, and the costs of, the whole system is pretty draining on your overall resource pool. So I don't want to encourage people to get invested in it now, because we don't know what's coming next on the horizon. And I know, like, pretty much for a fact that these enhancements and this URU is really not the game changer that people might think or say that it is. It will have some, potentially noticeable marginal effects on characters in terms of comparing them in PvP and stuff like that, but it's not going to have, a wide, jaw-dropping, difference-making effect. Another thing you can do with URU is you can convert URU. So if you get URU that you really don't want in quantities that you just don't know what to do with, like for example, I have 73 1-star URUs for dodge. You can convert them into any random 1-star URU. However, this is a pretty bad way of going about it because this costs 10,000 gold per conversion and it only gives you a 1-star URU back, which is pretty bad, and it can give you back the same URU. So you could spend 10,000 gold and you lose 2 URU to basically just get back 2 URU. So you basically spent 10,000 gold to lose 1 URU. By comparison, you can just go back and sell that URU, and for each one you're gonna get 10 gold back. So you're better off selling the ones that you don't want if you really don't want all of these than to convert them. So definitely don't spend any time or any of your gold converting URU. That's a dumb idea. If you really desperately need more URU, just go run that story mission again. So I hope these tips and I hope this information about URU has been helpful to you guys. I know it seems like a really complicated system, and I know that it seems like there are a lot of ways to screw it up or fuck it up. Really there aren't, but you just need to know that it's pretty much for high tier level players who already have a ton of resources and who already have a lot of characters maxed out. If you're not at that stage yet, don't really worry about URU. You can sell the URU that you don't want. I would just generally keep the URU that's rarer, so like 2-star and up, I would probably keep that. And then I would keep the 1-star URU of the skill or of the type that you really want for future characters, like crit damage or HP or skill cooldown or ignore defense, like defense penetration. The other ones, if you desperately need those inventory slots, you can go ahead and sell them. But for the higher level players who are tinkering with URU, I would say until you get to level 70, don't go crazy with the URU equipping. Maybe just equip 1 or 2 just to get those small stat bumps, and then once you get to level 70, you can start to customize things more clearly, and I'll probably do an update video once I get to that stage to give my thoughts on it further and more depth. Until that time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.